after the hour here, but let's go ahead and hit some of these folks that have been waiting. This is it Praful?
Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, are you in Hyderbad, India?
Yeah.
And you want to talk about blasphemy laws, and is your name Praful?
Yep, Praful. Actually, you got it right than more Indians do, so that's amazing.
I work with many people in India, and so I'm pretty good with the names, but I have never seen this one before. So you're on with Tracie and Phil, so let's talk blasphemy.
Yes, and before I start anything, I would like to say something first because I've been watching this show since 2017, and I know everyone from the show, Phil, Russell, everyone, Don, everyone, but I have a soft spot for you and Matt because you're the first people I saw for this show at least, and I agree with a lot of viewers. I think you're the Sigourney Weaver for the atheist movement.
I get that. Yeah. Okay.
Because I can see you coming in an exosuit, like get away from them, you believers, something like that.
I think Martin Wagner has a photo that's like me holding my cat, and then one of her in Alien holding the cat, where it's like this side by side thing. And so God, I can't hammer somebody for bringing it up because the other hosts mock me for it as well. So yeah.
If there's a T-shirt on that, I would buy it gladly. Seriously.
Oh, a T-shirt. Yeah. I don't think that's available yet. But anyway, blasphemy in India.
Okay. Yes. So the thing I wanted to discuss is the truth is I openly came out as an atheist 2 years ago. Before that, I was born into a Hindu family. My parents they're not overly religious. They're God-fearing people. So everything is about God for them.
So you're not Brahmin, right? You're not like the...
I am.
You are? Wow. And so you're like, my parents aren't really that religious. I was like, oh, well, maybe he's not
Actually, they are very religious. But when I say, I don't want to use the term overly religious because they're very nice. They're very open to other religions. But, deep down, they believe, I think they're more scared about God than anything.
Some of the most kind of open Indian conversations I've had have been with people from the Brahmin caste who seem to be less religious than you would think sometimes.
The thing is that there's another thing. I don't actually call myself a Brahmin because I think that would be ridiculous if I say that. It's like someone saying who's an atheist also admitting they're Catholic. I don't think there's any point for that. So so after that, I started doing a lot of research because I became an atheist after coming across a lot of people of different cultures. And my parents assumed that I am doing it out of spite against God. But the truth is, I even told them, like you guys say, how can I hate someone I don't believe exists?
Yeah.
So, it's a very long discussion. I don't want to get into that. But yeah, so the thing is, during my research and during all these episodes I watch you guys, I realized that you guys have this luxury of debating or even challenging religion. And I realized being born in a country like India, which I really admire, is I don't have that freedom because we have these blasphemy laws. And I came across this during one particular case, which I think you guys might find interesting. Okay. This happened in 2012. So there's this gentleman called Joseph Edamuruku, and his actual name is, the screen name is Senal. So apparently in 2012, there was a church in Mumbai which reported that the crucifix, the feet of the Christ, there was water dripping from it. So people, I don't think the Catholic Church itself called that a miracle, but a lot of people nearby and a lot of people call that a miracle. And this gentleman did a research and he came out saying that the most plausible cause is that it's a dripping caused by the capillary action from a clogged drain.
I think I read this.
Yeah.
I remember this article.
But the thing is, the aftermath is the most craziest thing I've ever heard because some of these Catholic associations, I think they put a case on him. And he had to pretty much move to Finland to escape jail time.
Wow.
Because when I read the incident, I was confused because I didn't see any malice in his discussion. It sounded logical. It sounded something that actually might have happened.
Well, the logical part is the problem.
Yeah, that's not, I guess it's blasphemy once they claim it's like miraculous, then you can't say it's not. I don't know. You can't question it after that. Nobody may come in and examine. I don't know.
Yeah.
Wow. So he actually had to move. No, I didn't realize that.
He moved to Finland because there was going to be an imminent arrest, if I'm right. And the sad part is there was another gentleman called Narendra Dablokar who's also a member of this Rationalist Association. He was actually shot dead, point blank.
That's not
So
good.
there were these. So after all these incidents, ever since that, I've always questioned the point of a blasphemy law, because it's weird how someone can make a comment about a religion or a god, they get murdered or they get sentenced for prison time, and after all this, I was like, who's the one getting persecuted here, the religion or the people?
Right.
It was so I can't exactly discuss a lot of these things with everyone because some people think I'm being too radical, which I don't think I am. Hopefully not.
Yeah.
No.
And this affected me in many ways because my dating life definitely took a hit.
Wow.
Yeah, because the moment I say atheist, everyone is like, "What do you believe in?" Even my mom said this to me when I came out as an atheist. I love her to death, but she was genuinely confused, and she was like, "What about your morals? What are you going to believe in if you don't believe in God?" And I was just sitting there thinking, I believe everything else except this proposition you're making.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, this entire thing, the way people are getting murdered. I mean, Bangladesh, you hear a lot of atheists being hacked to death.
Right.
So I really want to put this out there, saying, who are you trying to protect? God? I mean, I thought we're supposed to protect people we see, not a God we probably believe.
I see blasphemy laws as a way for humans to provide the vengeance of their own impotent God. Because if their God could do it, he wouldn't need blasphemy laws. So the very fact that there are blasphemy laws shows that that God is incapable of doing anything.
I mean, it's also kind of weird and sad to think about that because, like, imagine if I'm saying Tom Cruise did not do well in the recent movies. Do you think Tom Cruise will really care that some dude in India really doesn't like his acting? But God does. I even make these jokes. I'm a stand-up comedian as well. So I used to make this joke. I mean, is God so vain or so insecure that Tom Cruise, I mean, think about it. Tom Cruise, the guy from Scientology, I mean, I don't know if I should say it. That dude is more like, logical than him.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, so yeah, I read a lot of religions about Scientology, Mormonism, and the more I read about every religion, the more I started to think, okay, this does not make sense. I mean, once again, I'm not. And the thing is, when I say this, people think I'm trying to offend people. My only thing is, yeah, I'm just trying to state what I see. So yeah, I mean, I'm kind of annoyed with the whole blasphemy thing, and I hope that one day we get to the point where we don't have to do that.
Yeah, blasphemy laws are very scary. They're very scary. I totally agree, and I think that it's a good idea. I mean, even in the absence of the laws, just the social response sometimes can be.
Yeah.
I mean, there are social responses that go really extreme in some areas where people are killed or
riots for cartoons.
And and it even exceeds the laws in the countries where they happen, and yet there's very little legal response when somebody goes medieval on someone else for a blasphemy thing or some sort of religious honor insult. And then they even when they do break the law and go out and like a mob kills somebody, they almost never get in trouble for it because
I mean, there were so many stories we hear in this. I mean, even in Pakistan for that matter, there was, I think you guys might have heard about this. There was a student who was pretty much killed in the dorm. He was hacked to death by some people. And so all these things and this whole thing came to my knowledge because there's a state called Punjab. I think you guys must have heard about it in India. Previously, blasphemy laws, we have it as Section 295A. Under that, you can get prison time for 3 years, I think. But I think Punjab has now made it a law where you can get life sentence if actually you are committed under blasphemy.
Wow.
Which is, I don't know how to react to that. And the thing is,
I honestly, I don't either, other than to, it's like all you can do is advocate for it. But the problem is these types of laws make it impossible to advocate.
That's the point.
Right? I mean, there's a woman that was a lawyer. There's a lawyer in the Middle East. I'm trying to remember what country it was. But I want to say it was Saudi. I've got the link posted on the Godless Bitches website for Facebook. And she basically was a lawyer who handled cases of women being arrested for removing their head coverings in public.
Not being modest.
Right. And so she was the lawyer defending them. And they basically brought charges against her as the lawyer for I forget how they phrased it, but it was basically promoting, immorality by defending these women. So literally, you can't even now have a lawyer to defend your due process, to exercise your due process with some sort of representation in court, because now your lawyer gets arrested over this. And it's just like, you can't have laws that stop people from working. I mean, when you start denying people any form of due process,
there's no freedom.
Yeah, that should never ever be tolerated by a population.
I mean, the thing that really upsets me is how to see a lot of nice people. Like, for example, I've been throughout the show, and Saad, I think, from Pakistan. He sounds like a really nice guy, but what really upsets me is...
listen to last week's show.
Oh, I did, actually.
Oh, did you hear him last week? I heard some stuff that he had said, and I was just like, whoa.
Oh, yeah, I think he said something on the lines of, I think Matt was pointing out how 9-year-olds, they are children at the end of the day, and he was saying something like, they're mature enough to use an iPad. And it hurt me really bad thinking that someone is bending, upside down just to make it work. I'm like, why can't you see that you are literally twisting your morality?
Well, I mean, I do think he went and thought about it a little bit. Like, based on his comments this week, I think he did put some thought into what happened last week. So, to be fair, he apologized for some of the things he said and how people might have reacted. But what you're saying, I mean, I don't really have much to add, right? It's just we agree, and our goal is to push against these kinds of things, right? I mean, you're like Phil is saying, if your God is so offended, let him take me to court that he's been defamed.
He'll judge me later.
Let him sue me for defamation.
I say the same thing. I say the same thing. If God is real, I'm gonna burn like a paratha in hell anyway. So why would I need to get punished here? Yeah. And if you guys don't mind me saying, I just want to add a couple of things to Saad. I mean, I saw this entire thing last week, and like how Matt was trying to point out a problem, and he would completely ignore that and say, well, you have something good. I was thinking, if today one of you guys have brought up the Brunei situation, I don't know how to say the name, sorry. The Sultan of Brunei or Brunei.
Yeah, Brunei is what we call it.
Yeah, Brunei. So when the Sultan is now planning on killing gay people,
yes.
I'm sure if you brought it up, he would have said, but they do have great hotels.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he would have gone there.
I mean, it's hard to say. And I'm not defending anything he said. But I'm going to say that sometimes when people call in, we have conversations that what I describe it as we get them off the script. Okay, so they have to start winging it. And when you get a person who's used to a particular script that has to now go off the road and sort of off-road it, they're going to say really weird things. That's not abnormal. Oh, yeah. Things will come out of their mouths that later they will go back and hear and say, why did I say that? Or I can't believe I said that. Because they don't know what to say at that point, right? You're taking them into areas. Sometimes what the people do is just lock up. Right? They just lock up and they don't even know how to respond to it. And if I think a caller's doing that, I'll usually stop and say, you don't have to answer right now.
Yeah.
Why don't you go and think about it and maybe call us back?
I would like our new Mormon friend to go back and re-listen to
and he might.
Segment.
I mean, I think he will. Yeah. But I appreciate your call. I wish we had a solution. Go ahead.
Okay, if I have to just point out a couple of things as well. I mean, I know it has nothing to do with the whole blasphemy thing, but I thought I'll just point out because I hear this thing a lot, how, when people are making parallels to religions, they compare Lord Krishna to Jesus. And I know a lot of Indians are kind of very opposed to that because they say Jesus was born of a virgin, while Krishna, according to the religion, he was the 8th son. And so they say that, the mother is not a virgin by any chance. She clearly had 7 children. But the thing is, this is something I picked up from a lot of books and even from ISKCON, the Hare Krishna people. It is said that apparently, I mean, I'm just putting it out there because I don't want people to get, I don't want them to clogged with only one part of information. So the information I found is that apparently God himself appeared before her and told her, you don't have to have sex with your husband. Mental conjugation is how I'm going to be born. So they do, in a way, Krishna is born of a virgin because he was not born with sexual intercourse.
Okay.
But, mental conjugation. And at the end of the day, I'm not trying to debate anyone on this because, like I tell you, I actually got death threats, by the way. I'm a stand-up comedian.
Holy cow.
And I'm not even big on any level. Like, I don't have any YouTube shows or anything. I just do live shows. But the whole point of me being a stand-up comedian is because I want to make jokes on stuff that are tabooed, so that the more you laugh about something, the more the dogma is gone, and the more you can actually sit down and start to analyze it.
Yeah, humor.
And when I did a joke,
humor is a great way to address things when people aren't threatening you with death. Yes.
And the thing is, the 2 times I got death threats, one person was, I don't know how to label him, because he pretty much shouted from the audience saying, "I'm going to murder you" or something in slang. And I told him I'm going to be waiting outside, and he left. The other gentleman actually was nice enough to come up to me. He was very angry, but the whole point of me making the joke was to mention I didn't create anything. I'm just telling you what's in the book. And apparently, if I say it out loud, people are saying, "That sounds silly." And I'm like, that's exactly my point.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to show you the same thing with a different, I don't know. So yeah, I mean, I want to say it's a dream talking to you guys, because I've been listening to you guys. I think I pretty much listened to every episode now in the past 1.5 years. I listen to you guys when I'm at the gym, in the office. And I think I want to ask you guys one last thing, if you don't mind me asking.
It depends on how quick, because we got other people still on the line, and we're already late.
Quick. Oh, okay. In that case, I mean, I just want to see what you guys think about deja vu, because I experienced it a lot as well.
I think I just experienced it.
Because believe it or not, while the call is, even before I got on the line, I actually I had this deja vu that I definitely saw this, me sitting, like it's 4:45 in the morning here, waiting to talk to you guys, and I felt like this I've definitely seen. I don't know.
Yep. Sounds like time for sleep.
All right.
Oh, yeah, maybe I'm just hallucinating. But yeah, my dream is to one day be on the show with you guys. I know, like...
Oh, thank you.
Well, you were. Today your dream came true. You were on the show.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, but,
yeah,
like Phil and you guys, it's a dream. It's a stupid dream, but, it's just there. But thank you very
It's good to have
much.
goals.
Yeah.
All right.
And please convey my belated birthday wishes to Matt.
I will. Thank you very much, Praful.
Thank you. No problem.
Okay. Let's just see. We are kind of tight on time here. I'm going to go, we'll try another one and see how it goes. We'll try our luck. We're looking at David in Washington, who wants to talk about how Chris Lengen's paper was disproved by, who is it?
Chris Lengen. You guys have actually had a couple calls about him before.
Okay, well, you're on with Tracie and Phil, and what's on your mind?
Hey, sorry, I was actually listening to a few calls this week, and Chris Lengen kept coming up. Uh-huh. They kept on saying how smart he is and how his theory is going to come out and change everything. So I looked it up, and he actually has released the theory, the CTMU. And I'd like to read you what real scientists think about it real quick.
Sure.
Just a few quick quotes, and then this will be really fast.
I understand.
All right. So the first one comes from I'm going to say Rahel, R-E-H-L. He's a human-level AGI and cognitive theory researcher who contributed to the theory of knowledge, which is how we know what knowledge itself is. So he's very involved in this field, and what he says is, we didn't use anything from CTMU because there is nothing in it of any value. In fact, if you use the same rules that Lengen did, you could create your own fake theory like CTMU in 15 minutes or so. It didn't require any intelligence or expertise. Apparently what Lengen did was take a computer class at the same time he was taking some other classes on physics and reality. And he decided that humans are straight up comparable to computer systems, one-to-one comparison, and anything that might have been different between us, he ignores entirely.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So this has been completely and utterly laughed out of the scientific field, because it also starts out with not a premise or anything. It starts out with describing what science is. His actual theory paper does for the first 3 paragraphs.
That's weird.
It's so messed up. Cover to cover.
I mean, is he publishing for other scientists, or what? Who's he publishing for?
No, he's publishing for the CTMU is his own theory, and this is what I think Andrew was the last one to tell you about this. Yes. And it got me really curious because I keep on hearing his name here and there, so I looked him up, and he's There's no science.
I mean, is this somebody that's publishing in research journals or?
Well, he has tried to. He put the CTMU out, but like it didn't get peer reviewed because as soon as it got seen, people were just like, this. The way he put together the paper was invalid.
Okay, so it's just, you're saying it's just that bad.
It's just that bad.
Okay.
All right. Point made.
I'm there on Quora. You can look this up. There's scientist after scientist saying like, why did he write this?
You know what? I'm going to ask if I had plugged the blog earlier, but I would like to ask if you could go post some of the links to these quotes and to what you're pretty much putting out here on the air over at the blog. It's freethoughtblogs.com/AXP. And I do want to give you a heads up. I forgot to tell the other caller that I asked about the blog. You actually do have to wait for your first post to be moderated. So just a heads up, when you go to post, if you haven't posted on our blog before, there's a little bit of a delay that could go a day or two. I try to go and clear comments the first few days to kind of get things, greased. But don't freak out and start reposting your comment 20 times because it didn't show up. It just means you have to be moderated. So go ahead and just post that information there, and I think that would be extremely useful for folks.
Nice. Okay, I will do that. And the last thing about this call is Chris Langan's claim to his own IQ is physically impossible.
Okay.
Interesting. All right.
He says his IQ is between 190 and 210. That's him saying it himself. But the normal IQ scale is a 15 standard deviation scale. So to have an IQ of 210, you would have to have a population of 100 trillion.
So he's really smart.
This very, quote-unquote, very smart man with this, quote-unquote, very smart theory.
I got the biggest brain. The biggest brain.
The biggest brain. The smartest best theories with the biggest words.
I got the smartest thoughts and the best words.
I'd like to put out a warning to anyone who's about to go read the CTMU right now. If you've ever seen that episode of Friends where Joey has to write a letter of recommendation for Chandler and Monica, and he right-clicks every word and hits thesaurus, that is what Langan did.
That's sad.
It is a slog.
Okay, yeah.
So, good luck.
50-cent words. There you go. Shout out to the 50-cent word.
50-cent words, yeah.
All right, well, thanks, David. I appreciate your call.
Not a problem. I appreciate getting in and getting my 2 cents in.
All right, have a good night. So now we're going to Tom in Waterford, Michigan. You're considering atheism, and you want help breaking indoctrination, and you're on with Tracie and Phil. Tom in Waterford, Michigan?
Going once.
Well, I hope we didn't lose Tom. I know I didn't take him off. I know, but I'm waiting. They're letting me know in the control room to give him a little. Okay, we'll try putting him back on hold.
Maybe next show.
Yeah, and then we'll move on quickly to Josh in Missouri, who needs help countering claims, particularly subjugating women in the Bible. You're on with Tracie and Phil, and you're in, I think I said Missouri. Yeah. Hey, Josh.
Hi, can you hear me okay?
You sound great, yeah.
Hi, good afternoon, Tracie. Paul, how you guys doing today?
Phil, yeah, good.
Fantastic.
Oh, Phil, I'm so sorry.
That's
Phil.
okay.
It's okay. It doesn't hurt that much.
He answers to anything that starts with a P.
I'm just crying a little.
Yeah.
Well, it's good to have you both. It's great to be on the show. Long-time listener. I'm really excited to be here. So, yeah, just a quick shout-out to you guys' call screeners. I got my call dropped some time ago.
Oh, my gosh. I hope it wasn't me. I know I dropped one like last time I was on, and if it was me, I apologize.
Oh, no, I think that was mostly on my end, but they were able to resolve that pretty smoothly.
Okay.
And, yeah, that's really awesome of them. I really love you guys' call screeners.
All right.
What can we do for you?
Yeah, and another thing, I'm just, so I'm a student of established Missouri State University and a proud member of the Secular Student Alliance here.
Oh, great. Shout out to SSA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going strong. We're getting more members all the time, and I do believe Matt collaborated with us some years ago, so that was pretty awesome.
Cool.
I'd really hope to get to meet him, and maybe you guys too sometime.
Now, do you guys have a group going to Cincinnati?
I think the members did mention something about Cincinnati pretty recently.
Make sure they contact American Atheists. There's money to help students from universities and high schools go and cut your costs.
Well, I will definitely talk to the president of the SSA and see if we can work something out there. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, weekend of the 19th, so make it quick.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So the topic today isn't really, instead of doing a specific topic, as I told the call screener, what I have here is I've made a list of a number of very small, short, simple topics that I'd like to go through. I've watched you guys' episodes all the time, and I like to watch Matt's atheist debates videos. And out of all the things that I've covered and learned, these are just a few of the things that kind of give me a little pause and don't quite understand them all. But luckily, they're very short, very small, very simple. And
let's see how many we can hit. Let's start, and we'll see how many we can get through. Okay.
Yeah, I just want to burn through them all real quick and see, and so you guys can move on to other.
Let's do it.
So I have. You guys can pick one if it's any interest.
I
to you.
can't see the list.
I have claims of. Yeah. Sorry.
That's okay.
So I got claims of prophecy.
Okay, prophecy. Let's do prophecy. Prophecy is an easy one.
Let's go for it. So, how do you tend to address prophecy?
Okay, it depends on the claim. But a lot of times, what a person will do is they'll point, it depends on the type of claim that they're making, right? But you might have a type of claim where they say, this event was prophesied in a book, and then like 100 years later, this thing happened, right? And sure enough, you look at the book, and it's got a pretty clear prophecy. The king of the Midianites is going to blah, blah, blah. And then sure enough, this is what happened. A lot of times when you go in and you look at like even something as simple as the Wikipedia encyclopedia, you can see information on the different, like the authorship of the book, and it'll talk about the book and how it's written. And a lot of times those really specific prophecies that are like, whoa, that's pretty impressive, are interpolated, like they're later additions to the book. So the book will have a date that's like really old, and then you'll have some parts of it that look like they're written later. The Christian response to this is usually like, oh, but they're saying that because they don't believe in prophecy, and that's why but that's not it. There's a lot of reasons that they say that you can tell that different authorship is employed, and that this part is written by somebody and this part's written by someone else. And
one of my favorite things, especially if they look at something in the Old Testament that was prophesized and it came true in the New Testament, I will ask the Christian, would the authors of the newer books have access to the older books?
Right.
Because if I have access to older issues of Batman comics, can I incorporate parts of that story into a new Batman comic? Of course I can.
Yeah. And so,
a newer book having a story that fulfills something that was in an older story just means that they had the ability to read.
Right. So basically